Hi everyone, I'm Lorna Bennet and I'm here to tell you about my journey so far. In 2011, I graduated with a BEng honours degree in product design engineering, combined between the University of Glasgow and the Glasgow School of Art. It was a largely mechanical engineering degree based at the university with a lot of art and design project work at the art school. Unfortunately, due to creative differences with my final year supervisor, I didn't achieve the first class degree I had been working so hard towards and lost out on the opportunity to study a PhD in wind energy systems. Of course, I was naturally incredibly disappointed and spent a few days feeling very sorry for myself. But then I had to pick myself up and find a job. But before I talk about that, I want to tell you some of the things I wish I'd learned while I was at university. First of all is take advantage of all the opportunities that your university can offer. I know things are very difficult right now with the pandemic and Brexit, but the universities have international collaborations with other countries. There's the Erasmus programme, there's IET, there's so many ways to take advantage of studying or working abroad. And that's actually leading me on to my second point, which is my biggest regret from my time at university was not taking advantage of these opportunities, because my boyfriend at the time didn't want me to go away for the summer. And it's the single thing I regret most is not taking that chance, because my friends on my course that did take the opportunity to go and study overseas, they had a fantastic time and they have made friends for life all around the world. And many of them have gone to visit them on holidays ever since. Thirdly is, again, take advantage of all of the institutions and societies. I didn't discover the Engineers Without Borders until my final year, and I had such an amazing time doing different projects and sustainable engineering with them. And I sincerely regret not having discovered them sooner, because I was so focused on my studies and trying to do my coursework. The institutions of mechanical engineering and the IET and most of the others, they have student branches and they have regular events and meetings where you can meet other people from other disciplines and learn so much more about what's happening in different areas of engineering and get involved in projects and nights out and site visits and so many amazing things. So definitely take advantage and do these things. And lastly, it's not the end of the world if something goes wrong. Exam results don't mean everything. I was so upset when I didn't get the first class degree because I lost the chance to do a PhD. But if I had done the PhD, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do some of the amazing things that I have been able to do during my work life. So remember and have fun and take advantage of these events and activities, and don't burn yourself out by studying every hour of the day. So on to my first job. I was offered the position as a mechanical design engineer within 2 months of graduating, despite not having gotten onto the PhD programme and not having a job lined up. Cali Ocean Systems designed offshore lifting and handling systems, so mostly for the oil and gas industry, but they were starting to diversify into the offshore wind industry as well. I absorbed an incredible wealth of experience and got the opportunity to travel the world and made friends in countries that I never thought I would visit, particularly my friends in South Korea, who I have been back to visit on holiday since I finished working there. And they came to visit me for their honeymoon in 2016 as well. Absolutely fantastic. I was then approached by a recruitment agent who had found my CV from when I graduated on LinkedIn and asked if I was still interested in working in renewable energy. So I, of course, jumped at the opportunity to work for Polaris Wave Power. It was such an incredibly exciting place to work at the forefront of technology development, designing what was supposed to be the world's first commercial wave power generator. I got to travel to Orkney and actually go inside the machines and see how they work. And one of my first projects was designing a new access system to make operations and maintenance easier. Unfortunately, in 2014, the wave power industry almost disappeared and my company collapsed 3 weeks before Christmas, and I was left jobless and not knowing what to do with myself. 3 weeks before Christmas, not many companies are recruiting, but again, had to pick myself up after a few days of feeling sorry for myself and find a job. Again, within 2 months, I accepted a position as a development engineer with a consultancy in the aerospace industry. What I forgot to mention was at Palamas, I had started a master's degree in marine technology to advance my knowledge in the area I was working in. My last module had been in marine engineering, where our final project had been to design a ship's propeller. I was able to explain to my new boss that the principles behind a ship's propeller were basically the same as those of an airplane intake fan, and I was offered the job. I learned so much about an industry that I would not normally have considered working in. And although it was interesting, the work I was actually doing was incredibly boring. And I found myself so sad that I had left such an exciting industry behind. But the renewable energy industry was in turmoil after the collapse of the wave industry, and I had to wait and see what was going to happen. Luckily, in 2016, my new boss didn't really know the difference between wave and tidal power. And when approached by a former colleague to help design a tidal test device, I was asked if I would like to go on secondment. I, of course, jumped at the opportunity to go on a 3-month secondment to the Offshore Renewable Energy Catapult. I have now been here for over 4 years and loving every minute of it. I get to work with academics, technology developers, SMEs, and owner-operators from across the whole of the offshore renewable energy industry. I get to work with the Leavenmouth offshore demonstration turbine, the Nova Innovation world first grid-connected tidal array in Shetland, robotics innovators who are trying to make offshore operations safer for technicians working offshore, innovative foundation developers for different types of offshore wind turbine. I've presented at conferences and get to do loads of exciting STEM activities with schools, including this picture here of our VR tour of the Leavenmouth demonstration turbine. One of the most exciting projects I get to work on is with the Leavenmouth demonstration turbine. I get to work with technology innovators, testing out new technologies and sensor systems to improve the operations and the safety of offshore wind turbines. This is just some examples of some of those systems that we've tested in nearly 100 demonstrations in the last 3 years. I'm also a really enthusiastic STEM ambassador, having registered in 2010 for the Glasgow Science Festival while I was still at university. In 2018, I applied to the Royal Academy of Engineering for their Ingenious grants and was successful in setting up a STEM engagement strategy, initially in our Glasgow office at YWE Catapult, but now supporting and coordinating STEM ambassadors all across the country, from Aberdeen to Wales. In 2018, I had a very successful and busy year with several award nominations and achievements. Now, I'm not telling you this for the kudos. I'm telling you this because I definitely was not the best student at university. I didn't get a first-class degree that I was working towards. In fact, I didn't even get the 2-1 that I thought was my fallback. I did not do nearly as well in my exams as I had hoped when I was such a good student at high school. These awards are a recognition of my passion and enthusiasm for the industry I work in, and they are excellent things to be proud of, but it shows me that those exams that I was so worried about were not the end of the world. So I hope some of my turbulent experience gives you hope for the future, and that the stress and anxiety of COVID and the lockdown doesn't take too much of a toll. You can do it. Just keep going. Thanks for listening.